Terminal ballistics are impeccable and dispersion is close to the ideal. According to our assessment models here at the Maison Gardiennage Weapon Bureau, your weapon is very much a cannon. It's just a shame that we'd need at least 2 teams worth of manpower to deploy your musket in the field. It's too complicated to use. Thank you for the approval, Officer Chevrolet. Actually, I don't think the high barrier to entry is a bad thing. Before I had the Soul Sniper ritual staff custom made by Jalonen, we agreed that the stronger the weapon, the stricter its. Apart from their difficulty to use, I've even considered placing a moral cognition-based lock on such weapons. That way we can ensure they are wielded by the right people, preventing any immense damage resulting from criminal theft. That's a fair concern, Officer Trask. Weapon theft that leads to committed crimes is not uncommon here in Fontaine. Wow, so many old friends. Fontaine's Mason Guardianaz. I know, I'm not even gonna say that. Natlin's Flower Feather Clan and a Knight Favonius. What's going on with this little gathering of yours? Reconvening the multilateral exchange? Another joint war game? Bullseye, you called on to the situation immediately, Traveler. Sometime back, the Special Patrol sent Terena to Leeway to take part in the joint war game. The war game became the catalyst for ever more frequent exchanges between the armed forces of various nations. This time around, it's the routine ballistic war game between Fontaine and Mondstadt, aimed at sharpening combatants' battlefield planning capabilities on all sides. And this time, thanks to our friends in the Knights of Favonius, putting in a good word, the warriors of Natlin's Flower Feather Clan have joined the war game as well. Flower Feather Clan warriors are skilled at firing while in flight. They've opened the doors to a whole new world for us. The Knights must have gotten to know the Natlinese warriors during their expedition then. Paimon should have thought of that sooner. But what's a ballistic war game, really? Paimon understands every word individually, but put them together and it gets a little confusing. Doesn't shooting just mean firing the gun and being done with it? Are bullets allowed in war games too? Aha, if everyone had unlimited ammunition, you'd just hold down the trigger, and most enemies would be no problem at all. But combat is a long, drawn-out process. A shooter can only carry so much ammunition, so every shot needs to land, and to land strategically. So the Knights of Favonius have developed a new type of grenade to help shooters sharpen their understanding. The principle behind it is a little complicated, though. Oh, as for the specifics, I'll let our friend from the Knights of Favonius walk you through it. Coming. Apologies. I was buried in report organizing and hadn't even noticed the honorary knight and his little white companion. My greetings to you both. I'm Hedwig, member of the Knights of Favonius' General Affairs Company. I'm in charge of recording proceedings for this war game and coordinating between the gunsmiths and our other allies. Speaking of which, the device for this round actually has a connection to you two. Do you remember the strange salmon churl statue that once appeared in Dadupa Gorge? Vaguely, a long time ago, that. Don't remember, it doesn't matter, does it? Even Paimon's a bit fuzzy on it, Hedwig. Why don't you give us a short version? Right, then I'll skip past old legends and scattered intel and cut to it. According to the investigation company's findings, the statue was the work of an ancient salmon churl. The Ladler of Broth, Churldrick had taken an unused domain and reshaped it into a place to drill his battle formations. The honorary knight defeated one of Churldrick's lingering shadows back then, which caused the domain to collapse, and the eyes of Upano that oversaw the formations scattered out into the open. Once the support company had a sample in hand, they spent the better part of a year carefully disassembling and analyzing it. Eventually, they got the technology figured out, combined it with the design principles of Leeway's overhead surveillance devices, and produced a kind of visualizing observation grenade meant for long-range reconnaissance, so a shooter can gather information from a position of safety. What a roundabout journey. Paimon never imagined that little fellow we wrapped up with much fanfare would leave behind such a mysterious treasure. The upshot is, in a wargame setting, the observation grenades let shooters see through the eyes of the round in flight. deepening their grasp of trajectory and obstacles. So they can practice shooting strategies geared toward different scenarios. It works on quite a few clever little angles. As for us Flower Feather Clan members, our Saurian riders often have difficulty determining the effects of shots we make while riding our Kukasaurs. We are up in the sky after all, with our targets being far away. These observation grenades can thus help us conduct battlefield damage assessments. That's a term I learned from the Special Patrol by. It's a very concise concept. Sounds pretty neat. Glad to help. At present, the people involved in the war game have completed everything our two leaders, Chaska and Chevris, have designed for them. All that's left is complete our war game with an expanded sample. Since you're here honorary night, would you like to try it out? By all means. I did notice during the Fontanalia Film Festival that you're quite a crack shot, and an inspired one too. That's perfect. I'm personally interested to see how much your marksmanship's improved over the years, Traveler. And from the perspective of the wargame, your lack of familiarity with the observation grenades means that you can form an excellent control group for us. Hey, Traveler, it does feel like this grenade thing has real history with us. Might as well try its effects for ourselves, eh? This should be pretty fun. Guess I'll have to step up and take this seriously. Bit of marksmanship practice is good for me too. Totally, an extra skill is an extra skill, right? Never know if we'll run into some sort of bad guy who can only be taken out with muskets or something. Great, in that case, I'll prepare the venue and notify all those we have playing as targets. The rules are simple. Make as few adjustments as possible while defeating your targets efficiently. I should first say this drill was made to be tough. Even the Special Patrol's previous marksmanship instructor, Engine, was barely able to pass. I suspect you'll do just fine. Of course, there's no need to feel pressured. Sometimes shooting is not just about technique, but also about inspiration that arises as light as feathers, and little luck to send it off on the wind. Don't think of this test, but more as a relaxing game. Perhaps you'll gain something unexpected from all this. And final long-range sight lines. Travelers must fire an observation grenade to hit every target in the drill. Why is that music so loud? I'm not reading that. I'll figure it out. How's it going, Traveler? Making every shot count. Sort of, though. I don't exactly use guns. Another skill is another choice you can make. Who knows? You might find yourself in a future situation where your usual combat skills are restricted. When that time comes, the option of using a musket at range will be open to you. Makes sense. Mind if I ask your advice more often then? Ask for advice? Hardly, there's no need to call it advice, we'd just be sharing our experiences. Terena described your previous shooting form to me. From where I'm standing, you could well have the potential to become the best shot in Tevat, and even set new long-range records. Of course, live combat situations, urban settings, and target shooting challenges have their own unique features. Use the musket in your hands a few more times, I'm sure you'll uncover its secrets. Makes sense. Oh. How are we getting on with our Natlinese friends, by the by? Oh, well then, permit me to be frank. I suspect if we wanted to recruit Miss Chaska, her base annual salary would come up to 60 million more. Sorry, how much? Are my ears failing me? Nope, that's the right figure. From my son Guardian Naj's experience, building a piece of weaponry capable of matching her mobility and firepower would be likely hundreds of billions or more in budget, several thousand engineers spread across multiple institutions, and over a decade of technical breakthrough, R&D and testing, and it still might not succeed. It's not all hyperbole to call her and her soul sniper a Mora vault that flies. When I try engaging targets, I find myself automatically converting each shot she takes into the cost of an equivalent musket round and cannon round. From a cost effectiveness standpoint, putting her on payroll at the salary we'd offer would be a steal. Figures are favorable enough to leave even the most cynical merchants in awe. This seems like it's gone well beyond a question of Mora. She's got her duties at the Flower Feather clan, you know. I understand she's also a holder of an Atlanese ancient name that makes her one of the most important figures across all in Atlan, which is why I can really only express this wish to you. I'll think of other approaches, browsing Miss Chaska's strengths whenever possible so the Special Patrol's capabilities can develop in a more well-rounded direction. Any topics that aren't about work? Good question. I think Miss Chaska would be well suited to starring in a crime film, and absolutely in the leading role. Paranormal adventure with a thriller edge to it would also be fitting. Investigating ruins, unearthing ancient powers, working around a mysterious faction. Next time I see Director Xavier, I'll mention the idea to him in passing. Don't be impatient. Feel out the workings of the muscle carefully. Observe the tracer trajectories and the hit confirmation signals. That flash of inspiration will find you sooner or later. We'll meet again, Traveler. How have things been lately with you? Been with you lately. Thanks for asking. How's it been for you in Fontaine? Honestly, some good and some bad. Let's get the bad out of the way first. As I was crossing some open water on my Soul Sniper, I drifted a bit too close to the shooting range. Special Patrol mistook me for an airborne target and let off 2 volleys in my direction. Luckily, I was moving fast enough that they couldn't lead the shots properly, not a single round connected, and Captain Chevres arrived in time to call a halt to things. Talk about rough luck. As long as there were no misunderstandings or friction. Well, only good things followed after that. Took a few easy turns around through the city, taking my time to admire all the exquisite man-made architecture, the elaborate machines and ornaments, and the beautifully intricate clothes. I'd been a little worried beforehand. The court of Fontaine is a fortress walled in by stone. I wondered whether the limited sightlines might feel oppressive. As it turned out, the experience was just the opposite of life in the Flower Feather clan. Being surrounded by towering buildings gave me somehow a strange and pleasant sense of safety. Once the war game's over, I'd like to take a couple more turns through the city. First, what's it been like working with the Special Patrol? Well, above expectations, and not just by a little bit. Their discipline is remarkable, although I can already imagine some of the tribal warriors finding them too rigid, too tied up by the rules to fight freely. But after training the recruits whose baseline skills were all over the map, I gradually came to understand. When individuals don't have overwhelming personal strength, cooperation and discipline are the last guarantee of stable combat power. So I've had a thought, though it might not be one I can act on. Bring Captain Chevres back to Natlan with me and getting her to throw in with the Flower Feather clan's warriors. The Mora question would be tricky, naturally. Fontaine's wages and cost of living are both on the higher end, but I find a way to put together an offer she'd be happy with beyond just Mora. You think the Special Patrol is stronger than the Saurian Riders? I figure you'd consider the warriors stronger. No, this isn't about who's stronger or weaker. The point is to make up for what we lack with what they have. I'm proud of the Flower Feather clan warriors, and I've never doubted the Saurian Riders' ability to take down any monster. But it's precisely because I know and trust them that I'm clear on our weak spots. In every battle, we inevitably take a certain amount of casualties. In the past, we've held together as tribes, each warrior doing their part in battle, our coordination looking decent enough on the surface. But when it comes to bringing together the process of responding to losses, training efficiently, and replenishing combat strength, making warrior teams more resilient, our friends in Fontaine clearly have a wealth of experience worth studying in depth, so we can grow stronger ourselves. I think I see what you mean. Managing teams, designing training programs, giving precise commands, in these areas Captain Chevres must be one of Fontaine's foremost experts, no? Her professional skills to a warrior pursuing collective strength are like a slab of meat sizzling on the open coals to a starving soul. She really is essential to Fontaine. You could absolutely call her one of its key figures. It's a shame then. Fontaine certainly won't let her go. Poaching from an allied force isn't exactly something a proper warrior of the tribe should be doing. Just take it as a not so appropriate joke on my part. That's so funny. They both want to recruit each other. I was just gonna skip talking to him, but I'm happy I talked to him now. That's pretty funny. Assault unsteady stronghold, a training ground consisting mainly of ruined walls and rubble. Stone pillars obstruct targets, so be mindful of your firing angles. In this exercise scenario, the enemy has occupied the ruins and is attempting to turn them into a temporary stronghold. Your forces are to pursue them inside and eliminate all threats. Damn. No, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I forgot to read it. Oh well. Not anything important at all. Oh, he stops. I didn't realize it stops him. It'd be cool if you had to like lead it. I wish they left them walking. Should make some stages annoying, but why is it shaking? I'm literally not even holding it. Wait, what? I'm aiming with my controller. What the fuck? That's a thing? How do you turn that off? Ah, dude, that's so much better. No way, I thought it was like... Alright. There's 6 yet? Oh, there is. I see him now. Oh, crap. Suck my balls. On standoff, a mountainous training ground with uneven terrain. Its complex elevation changes present. A new challenge when planning short trajectories, but with enough mastery, that challenge can be turned into an advantage that vexes the enemy, allowing a small force of elite troops to delay an enemy force many times its size. I think I just gotta go over here and I'll be able to line them all up. It's just that easy. Breakthrough at the Valley Pass. Valleys are classic examples of terrain that is easy to defend and difficult to attack, even in an age where long-range weapons are widespread. Conducting an effective operation to seize such passes with minimal losses remains one of the most important training subjects for forces on all sides. Targets place shields that can block the observation grenade, making the shot ineffective. Plan your trajectory carefully. And aim around the shield to hit the target. You take the strong point and exercise based on a worst case scenario. Camp anchoring your battle line has been captured by enemy forces. You must regroup for an offensive to retake the entire area. Barracks at varying distances, towering watchtowers, and roving patrols have all become factors that must be carefully analyzed. No. I don't get how I'm supposed to attack this. Forgot to read it. So we have a deal? We have a deal. Deal? What deal? Did Paimon miss something important? Formal phrasing would be confirming the signature of a memorandum. The joint training memorandum on improving shooter effectiveness. On reflection, recruiting Miss Chaska to the Special Patrol would mean an incalculable loss of talent from her homeland in Atlan, not the wisest move. Special Patrol's clockwork, stable functioning would be unimaginable without Captain Chevrolet's daily command and coordination. Without her, Fontaine would run into no shortage of trouble. To achieve our objective, we need an unprecedented form of cooperation. What is this astonishing telepathy going on? The two expert minds have lined up. They've found a plan that works for both of them. In short, after consulting with Captain Chevrolet, we decided to start a long-term study exchange of representatives within 3 months. This plan can strengthen cooperation between the Special Patrol, the Flower Feather Clan, and the Knights of Favonius, while keeping the burden as low as possible. In the literal sense of those words, they'll send people back and forth. Flower Feather Clan warriors stay in Fontaine for a stretch, and Special Patrol fighters head off to Natlan. Exactly, though in practice it's not as simple as letting people from each side go live in another country. The selection of representatives, the lodging, the daily curriculum, the simulation training, and live drill schedules, the budget arrangements, every detail needs systematic planning. And we'll focus on the weak spots, addressing each with its own specific remedy. For instance, the Natlanese warriors don't pay much attention to formation theory, and the Fontanian shooters have almost no live experience with movement against movement marksmanship. So we'll have Natlanese warriors work in disciplined squad level units, and we'll have the quickest swords grab the Special Patrol shooters by the shoulders, fly them low, and have them shoot at intercepting targets. That sounds way too strict. If you can actually pull it off, the results would be tremendous. Targeted training of weak points is the most effective method after all. Many of the planned courses also rely on excellent equipment from our Mondstadt allies. Representatives from the Knights of Favonius are essential, and any result from the program should be shared with them. Captain Chevrolet, that's most thoughtful of you. Once again, our thanks for your generous offer. In this drill, the observation grenades and the suite of equipment all perform normally. We'll continue regular deliveries per the existing procurement contract. As for sending representatives for study, please let me convey this back to our headquarters so that the officers can issue a formal reply. Provide you with the formal written documentation. I'll be waiting for good news from you. And to close, the topic should return to our ballistic wargame. Captain Chevrolet is uncommonly pleased with this round of results, after all. Yes, with your remarkable control group performance to compare against Traveler, our final piece of the puzzle is in place. Joe has produced a wealth of ballistic planning, thinking samples, covering shooters of every skill level. Enough to substantially improve the original musket marksmanship textbooks and even the instructor manuals for shooting training. Efficiency could be raised several-fold. Feel free to call me in for the next war game. I'd be glad to take part in another exercise like this one. It's just while I was waiting to hear. Rest assured I'll send you a letter the moment the time comes. The marksmanship talent you're showing, you ought to be sitting on the test setter's side of the table next time. Helping our friends in Mondstadt, Fontaine, and Atlan all get stronger is the best feeling there is. One day Paimon hears that the books we helped put together produced an amazing warrior, and that warrior drove out the monsters with a few quick shots, keeping everybody safe. That feeling would be just as good as scaring the bad guys off ourselves. Proud and grounded all at once. Alright, I just wanted to do that. It was gonna be a short stream. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go make some food. Thanks for anyone who watched, anyone that is watching. Appreciate you. Peace out.